So our featured presenter for today is Ashley Bell, and she lives outside of Pittsburgh, PA, and is a former middle and high school teacher. And in her current role as content product manager with Edulastic, she works to bring educators high quality content solutions that are classroom ready. So with that, welcome Ashley, and I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you, Ileana. It's great to be here, and there's just a nice picture of me. Thank you for the introduction, Ileana. I'm happy to be here today and talk with you all about SparkMath. And with that, we'll go ahead and get started. If you go to the next screen, please. Thank you. So today we're going to talk about SparkMath. We're going to talk about quickly what it is, how you can integrate this into whatever curriculum you're using, how you can access it within the platform, talk about some really cool differentiation features that are ready to go and how that can help you have ready to go resources to support diverse learners in your classroom. And then, as Ileana said, we are going to have some designated time for Q&A at the end. So feel free, if you have questions, to put them in the chat or in the Q&A, and then we'll make sure that we have time to answer them before our time is ending today. So let's start with a quick video that talks a little bit about SparkMath before we dive in.
As a math teacher, you know that each student needs to master skills that build on each other. But each student learns at their own pace. So you might have 5 or 10 levels in your class. How do you help every student get to the next level and achieve their full potential without going crazy yourself? SparkMath can help. SparkMath is a supplemental digital resource aligned to your math curriculum. It includes pre-built assessments and quizzes for each module or section of your curriculum, laid out in a convenient playlist format, along with differentiated practice assignments for each student. Everything is auto-graded, so you get instant data on understanding and growth. Here's how it works. When you log on, you'll see your curriculum playlist with quizzes and assessments for each module. Our class has finished the current topic, so let's assign a quiz. While students work, we can see how they're doing. Many students are struggling with questions 3 and 4, so we probably need to review that. When students have finished, go to the Differentiation tab to assign practice based on student performance. SparkMath recommends review work for students who score less than 70%, practice assignments for students in the middle, and challenge work for students above 90%. For these recommendations, you can add or substitute assignments you have created, or include other resources, such as instructional videos. As the teacher, you're always in control. Track student progress over the year with SparkMath Insights. You'll see how students are progressing versus how much time they are spending on the practice assignments. You can group students into remediation groups to track them separately, or the whole class together. Start a trial of SparkMath today and see your students soar.
Great. Thanks for playing that video. It's a nice little intro to what we're going to dive a little deeper in today. So I want to start with talking about, we'll wait for the slide.
Sorry, one moment.
No, okay.
There you go.
There we go. Thank you, Ileana. So just again, to reiterate what SparkMath is, it provides supplemental math practice for you to use in your classroom. There's topic quizzes and end of module assessments that are a little bit longer that can help you have ready to go assignments that you don't have to create on your own. They're ready to go for you, and they're aligned to the standards that you care about and that you teach. There's also built-in differentiation tools, which we're going to take a closer look at here later. And one of the best features that I think of SparkMath is that all of this is auto-graded. So it saves you time from grading. You get immediate feedback on how students are performing on those assessments, and your students also get immediate feedback as well. So if you go ahead to the next slide, please. We're going to talk about next what's included, a quick overview before I actually go in and show you live and demonstrate what it looks like live. So the first thing is there's a really robust standards aligned item bank There's supplemental curriculum playlist. And one of the greatest features, I think, is built-in differentiation. Let's take a look quickly first at the standards aligned item bank and what that can do for you. Within SparkMath, there's over 23,000 high quality standards aligned math items that are already built. They include tech enhanced items with some of the trickier ones to build on your own, like hotspot or graphing, or some of those ones that just take a little bit more time to build. And we have that in there for K to 12, all the way up to pre-calculus. So there's a lot of content in there to meet your needs. They're ready to go. You can create custom assessments and quizzes from these, in addition to all the other great features of SparkMath. But this is kind of like the foundational building block of SparkMath, is this high quality item bank that we have. Now, next, we have the playlists that are aligned to standards and grouped by domain. So if we don't have a curriculum, if we don't have a SparkMath playlist, which, I guess I should say what a playlist is. A playlist are groups of quizzes and assessments put into one module or like a group, so that way they're easy to assign, they're all related, and they're ready to go for you, so you don't have to individually assign the quizzes and that are there. We have ones that are just aligned to that are standards aligned and grouped by grade level, and also high school subjects like Algebra 1 or integrated math and geometry, and those are ready to go. And you can assign them however you need to, based on how you teach these concepts in your classroom and in what order. And if we go to the next slide, we also have playlists that our internal curriculum teams have already built that are a great complement to the scope and sequence to some of the most popular math curriculums that are used. We currently support Eureka Math, Eureka Math Squared, Go Math, and Illustrative Math. This is great for extra practice. It allows you to really leverage those differentiation features that we're going to look at. And it already complements the core curriculum that you're using. It follows that scope and sequence. It has those same topic quizzes and end of module assessments that the standards aligned playlist have. It just fits in a little bit more tightly with these scope and sequences of these curriculums. And then finally, there's built-in differentiation, and it's probably hard to see all the little teeny tiny words on this screenshot. So when we go in live, it'll be a much nicer view for you. But what is great about SparkMath is that once your students complete an assignment, you are able to immediately assign practice based on performance on that assignment. So the system will group students with recommended practice review work based on how they did. Practice work if they are ready to really tighten up and have some repeated practice to build the skills based on those standards, or if maybe they're ready for some challenge work and to move beyond that skill. And you are able to assign these assignments to students based on their group automatically. There's not a lot of extra work involved for you in having to group students. It does it for you already. And again, like in the video, you saw, you still have a lot of autonomy and control over those assignments as well. You can also add in your own work, or just use the pre-formed assessments that come from that really robust SparkMath item bank. All right. Now, here's the fun part. I'm going to go into my teacher account and demonstrate SparkMath. So I need that. All right. I don't have my chat, but Ileana, if you don't mind confirming that my screen that is being.
Looks good.
Okay, awesome. I don't know why this is there. Okay. So here's my teacher dashboard, and I'm going to go in and show SparkMath. So the first thing I want to do is kind of go through all of those features that we talked about. The first one is the item bank. So maybe I know I have access to SparkMath, and I just want to use the item bank as is. I can go to my item bank library, and I want to look for just the SparkMath items so we can see those. And I can see all of my items here that are available to me. Maybe I'm a 5th grade teacher, so I really just want to look at 5th grade. So I can see here's my 5th grade items, and I can really easily choose the items that I want. Maybe I want a 4 quiz, and then I can create my test using this feature here. So that's the first step into SparkMath. Next, I'm going to look at the playlist, and this is where all the work has already been done for you. And I can see, I can choose the playlist that I need. If I'm using Eureka Math, here's my 6th grade one, or I can just use the SparkMath one. And I'm able to preview it ahead of time just by clicking on it. And I can see all of the different assignments that are already created in there. I can even preview these if I want to and see the questions. And this is exactly what my students are going to see whenever they engage in this assessment. So I'm going to go back. And when I'm ready to use one, I just click on use this, and it's going to put it into my playlist. So that way I won't, it will go into a different area. I'll show you here in a second, where the work that I'm having my students work through is saved. So if I come over here to my playlist, I have one already ready to go, my SparkMath playlist here. And this is a 5th grade one, and I assigned this module to my demo students already. They've been working on these assignments. And what I can see right away is how much time my students have spent working on the assignments in here. Now, these are my demo students. Hopefully your students spend a lot more than 36 minutes working on their assignments in here. But my demo students don't spend a lot of time, I guess, working in their SparkMath assignments. But I also can get module proficiency. So overall, how long have my students, or how are my students mastering the standards and the concepts within this place value and decimals? Here's the module after that is the standard algorithm. And then my students haven't completed any assignments for the rest of these yet. And this whole module has been completed. My students are still working on the 2nd module. Not everyone has submitted all of the assignments here, but I have assigned it. The next module I might want to assign is this 3rd module, strategies for division. None of my students have worked on this yet. I can assign individual assessments if I don't want them to do them all. Maybe I only want them to do one, or I can assign the entire module at one time. And here's my demo class. I just need to move this picture out of the way. And I can assign the entire module, and my students will get these assignments pushed out to them, all 5 or 6 that are in the module. We'll wait for that to go through. And of course, my internet will be slow for you all today. There we go, success. Now I can either return to my playlist, or I can go to the live class board. I'm going to go ahead and go to the live class board just so I can show you what this will look like. Once my students start working on this assignment, I'll be able to see in real time how they're progressing on each question, or come in here and view this later if they've completed this as homework. I can see all of the assignments. Oops, I need to go here. Okay, here we go. I can see all of the ones that have been assigned. Students are currently working on this one. These are assignments they haven't started yet. Nobody has started these ones yet. But these are all coming from the math playlist. If I go back to my playlist, and now I want to see how my students are doing. Now I know that they've completed the place value and decimals assignments. I can either click into it, and this allows me to review the assignment itself, or what I really care about and what is really awesome about SparkMath is this differentiation tab. So if I come over here, this is going to show me how my students are doing and what the recommended work is for them. And I can sort this by assignment. So maybe I am really concerned about this particular assignment here. I can select the assignment I want to look at, select the class, and then I can see right away these 3 students need review work. So I can assign them based on, I can select all the standards, I can select a handful of them, whatever I know about my students and where we need to work, I can select them. When I click assign, it will come up and I can choose when I want this to close, if at all, what type of assignment this is going to be, and then how many questions per standard I've selected I want students to practice. So we'll just say 2 here, and I'll go ahead and click yes, assign. is not allowed. Well, I'll have to go in and figure out why this worked, but show hints to students. So it's a test setting. I'll have to fix the test setting. Sorry for my dog. This is real life webinar here. My dog's barking. Well, in order to, in the essence of time, I'm just going to play around with that. Lizzie. But that's essentially what we would do. My students would get an assignment on their assignment board that says review work with however many questions I had selected for them to choose. The same thing works for the other categories. So I have a student here who needs to practice the skill. I can make them a differentiated assignment in much the same way, choose the number of questions that I want them to practice. And then when I click assign, it goes directly to the student's dashboard, and then they will be able, when they sign on, be able to complete. Once I've assigned it, then I'm able to track as well how many people have completed it. Same for the challenge work. Let's go into another assignment here. We'll look at this one. Let's say that I personally want to consider review work maybe below 60 instead of below 70. So you have the ability to customize, maybe I'll do it lower. You have the ability to customize how these bands work. And I'll just play around with this real quick so that way we can do, and then this will change and put my students into different groups depending on how they scored on that assignment. So if I know that this assignment's targeting a particular standard, maybe it's a power standard in my district, and I want students to have more practice, and maybe mastery, I want it to be closer to 90% or 80%, or review work, I want 50% below. You have the ability to change that dynamically within SparkMath in the Differentiation tab. In the video that we watched, we also looked at this ability to customize content. And this is where, if you have additional resources that you've created and you want to push those out to students based on these groups as well, you're able to do that really easily by pulling the content in wherever you need it to be. So you have a lot of autonomy and a lot of control and power over the content that your students are being assigned. And what I think is great about this tab is that it's really easy. It's really simple for you to push out assignments to students based on where they are and what they're going to need and what's going to be the most impactful for them. And real quickly, we can also look at the Insights tab here, just so you can see what this looks like live as well. Where I think this will be incredibly beneficial, as you can see how much time your students are spending on their assignments. I know when I was teaching, that's one metric I always like to talk with my students about. How did you perform on this assignment? Well, how much time did we spend on this assignment? And now you can kind of get a quick look at this. We're spending a lot of time, or maybe we need to spend more time and double check our work or rethink, go back and check our answers, make sure we answered everything. And sometimes it's helpful just to have like that information that you can share with them. Like, oh, I know you spent 30 seconds on this quiz. Maybe that's why we got a lower score, or a similar talking point. With that, I'm going to hand it back over to Ileana to talk a little bit more about where we can find additional support in Edulastic, and then eventually we'll get to the Q&A section.
Sounds good. Thank you, Ashley, for that awesome overview. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Continue. Okay, great. Let me just make sure I have my window open. Great. All right, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. All right. So as you're working through SparkMath, we have a lot of great support resources available to you. While you're in the app, you can use that little chat bubble that's in that bottom right corner there, and that'll get you connected initially to a bot, but then eventually to a person, and they're very, very helpful in assisting you with any questions you might have. We also have a great resource page on our website to help direct you to additional support webinars, videos, and other trainings if you want to dive even deeper. And make sure you also check out our YouTube channel where we have a bunch of resources for you as well. I also want to remind everyone who's here today to make sure you activate your 60-day trial. So if you don't already have SparkMath, now is the time to sign up. You have until September 30th to take advantage of a 60-day instead of a 2-week or 14-day trial of SparkMath. So in order to do that, I'm going to pop this link into the chat. You're going to want to head over to your subscriptions page. And on your subscriptions page, you can activate that trial if you don't already have SparkMath. And now we're going to head over to Q&A. So if anyone has any questions, now is the time. And Ashley and I will both be available here to assist you with anything you might be wondering. And I did see a question come in the chat. So Kat asked, for lower level students, does the differentiation spiral down grade levels? We do a self-paced classroom.
Great. That is a good question, Kat. The differentiation works by identifying which standards previously might students need to build strength and to build proficiency. So I think probably where you'll see some of what the spiraling down is, for example, if there's a 5th grade standard and the student has not mastered that, what are the prereq standards from 3rd grade or 4th grade where they need practice and review on in order to be ready to engage with those 5th grade standards? So it's really dependent on which standard it is, which standards feed up into that standard. And then the system will automatically recommend based on that, and you can assign review, I think it's called review quizzes with those skills, so they have practice on that. You can also build your own depending on what that specific need is, and then push those out to groups of students as well. It will require the teacher to assign them, so the student isn't given the recommendation themselves to do additional practice. The teacher would go in and assign that. However, you saw how easy it was for me to go in and quickly assign something for the students to work on. So that could help with your self-paced classroom, and having the students into the groups, and the ability to change the proficiency bands based on the assignment as well really gives you a lot of customization to push out the right practice to students based on where they are in their learning. So if there's any other questions, I'm happy to answer them now.
And I will just add on to what Ashley said and mention that SparkMath is going to really help you with self-paced classrooms, and just that playlist feature in general. It allows students to kind of work through the assignments you're giving them as you make them available to students, or as they're ready to move on to the next thing.
That's a great point, Ileana. When you assign a module, it assigns all of the assignments at one time. So if your module has 6 or 7 assignments in it, students are able to work through them at their own pace, and you won't have to individually assign 7 different quizzes because you can assign the entire module. So thanks for pointing that out, Ileana. That's a great feature.
I'm dropping a couple more helpful links in the chat. Okay, so if any other questions filter in, Ashley will be happy to answer them. I'm going to point you to some additional resources. So we do have other webinars that we're offering for back to school. So if you liked this one or want to learn more about Edulastic in general, please join us to learn more about your Edulastic account with Edulastic 101, an overview of Premium and everything that comes with it. We also have Edulastic Enterprise overview that'll walk you through everything that comes with an enterprise account for schools and districts. And if you're just curious about building Edulastic assessments, that's another event we're offering during the season. And you can access that and register and explore other resources that we have available to you on our website at edulastic.com/back-to-school 2022. And I will drop that in the chat as well. Good. Oh, I lost my handy link document. Okay, so if there are no more questions, that's okay, because something might come to mind later. And if so, you can send us an email. Please let us know what you thought of this event today. You'll be directed to a follow-up survey. We'd love to hear from you, love to hear what you liked, what would help you in the future.